Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to summer video for multiplayer game number 109. This game was a free-for-all 5-player game played on 13th December on Twitch. I've got in this game Tony the Bomb, Cleftor, Twinsen and Kishumi16 as usual. Spoiler alert, if you do not want to know how the game went, stop watching right now and go to the first position of the playlist where the actual game starts. Okay, you have been warned, but if you do want to know how the game went, so you can decide if you want to watch the game or not, or you have already watched the game and you want to hear me theory craft a little bit, then I invite you to watch this video. So, you're still here? So let's go. I rolled Maya in this game. Tony got Spain, if I remember correctly. Cleftor was playing as Babylon, Twinsen got Shanghai, and Shumi got Inca in this game. So, wow, just pretty insanely good civs. Well, Spain is a little bit debatable. Depends if Tony would find a wanderer or not. Would he be first? Could he settle the wanderer and stuff like that? So Spain is a bit situational, but still could have a very amazingly good start. Now Babylon and Cleftor, we know how that works. Babylon and Cleftor is just crazy. Shumi on Inca also sounds very terribly crazy. And Twinsen on Shanghai sounds standard, I guess. Twinsen is like, I don't know, his gameplay lately is not the greatest. He doesn't seem to be like, his level is not the same in every single game. Sometimes he plays very good, sometimes he plays very bad, or sometimes he plays just, I don't know, normally, I guess. And in this particular game, I don't think it worked out that well for him, though I will explain that later on what actually did happen in here. So we've got the civs covered. This is my starting location. I've got Maya. Maya is pretty amazing. The early game is just great. Allows to do a lot of stuff. I mean, like Shrine compensates for expanding, extra science, extra fate. It's just amazing, great, and great persons throughout the course of the game is also quite useful, but that part is, you could say that part is quite situational, because first of all you would like to get you to theology as fast as possible, and then you don't really want to go to theology that early that often, especially if your land does not support like great library rush or stuff like that. And the counter, actually, if you get like for the first person great engineer, then a scientist, or the other way around, it actually increases your normal great person generation. So it's actually cool that you get them, but it doesn't help you in the late game, basically. Yes, it's like cool, get an extra great general or some musician and stuff like that, but all of those persons, even the prophet, that's the problem. Even the prophet increases the amount of points you need to generate great engineers and scientists, so that's not always good. That's, for me, it's quite situational. It can mess up timings, and if wanderers you're like too slow or something and you're not going to use those extra persons correctly, it could even possibly like slow you down if you are very unlucky. But it also can be very strong if you can get to the wonders you really need very fast. So I've got Inca, I've got Maya. This is my starting location. So I decided, well, it's not like super crazy starting location like tundra and all the stuff like forests, but at least I've got 2 wheat resources and quite a lot of silver. So I decided to move in here. To plant on the mountain, on the river, have 2 deers in the range of my capital. Wine is here, 3 silvers and a couple of hills, so not like a crazy food city, but quite a lot of production for the late game. So mediocre start at best, not like a dream start, but mediocre start at best. Right, let's go. I will show you my land. Okay, this is it. This is turn 34 and this is my land. Now this is like, oh, what, Maya, and this is my land. Now This is not the greatest land ever I have seen. Really, this is not the greatest land ever. Now, I knew that Tony's on the coast. He did not find the wonders. Thankfully, he did not find the wonders. But he's on the coast. Shumi started in land, Twinsend also started on the coast, and Cleftor started in land, and my first neighbor is actually Twinsend. The other side, I'm on the edge of the map. Now, you could say like this land doesn't look great, and you will be totally, absolutely correct. This land has quite nice hammers. It has very, very poor food, and there's a hard time to actually do anything with this land. I could possibly, instead of planting the city here, I could plant it on the coast and fill it with a cargo ship, but then again that would deny me quite a lot of tiles to work, because if I'm here I can actually work the river here. In here I would be only able to work these parts of the river, so that's at least how many tiles missed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles of river that I would be missing. I'm not sure that a cargo ship, one cargo ship, would compensate for the loss of that many river tiles. That would be actually quite amazing in the late game. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 3, that's 15, plus 5 hammers, so 15 food and 5 hammers. Cargo ship wouldn't support me for that part, and also I've got access to a silver, so that's quite nice. I don't miss any tiles in the north. The only tile theoretically I would be missing is like this plains or so, because there's probably no food in here. At least I don't see any food around in here, and also would demand me to, well, I would be vulnerable to attacks from the sea. I would need also to plant a city somewhere in here, and the second spot for a coastal city is quite bad. I could maybe plant on the cow, or here on the grassland. I would then miss a deer, so this city would be a little bit better in terms of being a coastal city. When it comes to the tiles, it could work, but I don't think it would be still worth it to waste a cargo ship in here, and especially that my capital needed so darn a lot of food. Tikal has no access anywhere out of here, so there's no possibility to send a cargo ship out of here. So a lot of things. So didn't look that great, and this spot was totally blocked. On top of that, I had a luxury problem, because I've got only 1, 2, 3 luxuries. Do I see this correctly? 3 luxuries, and there's truffles somewhere in here. So 4 luxuries for 4 cities. Very little food available. It looked like a terribly hard game ahead of me. The only cool thing that I had is Inca. Well, Inca is Maya. I had access to shrines, which, though I had a low population, I'm still catching up at early science. And also I had quite nice hammers, but I had to deal with barbs. And I also had to deal with problems with food in the early game. I really desperately need that fort city quickly. So my start, you could judge, was quite slow at best. Okay, so here we are at turn 82, and basically I had a quite slow science start, but I also decided somewhere in this around this part that I could perhaps I got quite lucky with wonders. Now don't get me wrong, but I got Borobudur. Well, Parthenon, I got Parthenon, I built up Borobudur, and I just great engineered Notre Dame. So I had quite nice wonders. I do believe I will get Machu as well. I had, I believe, also very nice religion, and I also was buying pagodas. I got gold and all this cool stuff. So religion wise, that was quite nice. I had quite good city states on the other side, and basically Twinsen was cutting me off from the rest of the map. So I was quite, I would say, safe, especially that Twinsen was bordering Cleftor. So that looked like a very good thing to try to experiment something, and somewhere around the mid game I was thinking like, maybe let's go aesthetics, maybe let's try to have some fun with tourism, maybe it could work, because I didn't felt like I had any chance to win a science victory with this amount of land and this amount of food. I would need to take some more cities. Now, I don't want to take cities in the back because those are good city-states. Not only those are good city-states, giving me quite a lot of boost. This is a mercantile city-state. Oh, this is a mercantile cities. Food, maritime. This is a maritime city-state giving me food that I desperately need. This is a mercantile city-state giving me a lot of happiness. And this is a fate city-state. Who would want to kill those cities? Those are terrific good cities that I could trade with and ally, because I'm almost the only one who has got access to them. So I don't want to kill them. Do I want to kill Twinsen? Perhaps that could be a wise choice, but, well, wise choice. But then again, if I'm going to kill Twinsen, who's going to stop Cleftor? That would be probably need to be me, so I would need to take all of those spots, and there's that ton of lands, get them up to speed, in hopes that Cleftor, without waging war, will be behind in science from me. So I don't think that would be possible. So my best option would be to like sit in here and hope that the rest of the world will deal somehow with Cleftor or fight between them each other, while I will try to sneak in a culture victory. Yeah, that sounded a little bit crazy, but that thought was like, that's really the best plan you've got? Yeah, that's the best plan you've got. So, yeah, let's start working on a culture victory. I'm like, I've got a strong religion, which is totally awesome. I got a strong religion. I managed to sneak in quite good wonders. Borobudur allowed me to really expand with the religion, in here at least. On the other side of the planet, Shumi had very, very strong religion, but my religion was quite nice in here, and I had quite nice fate generation. So that said to me, you could sneak in couple of great artists, musicians, artists and writers. You can sneak in autocracy, futurism a little bit, and you could try to work towards a cultural victory. It could be possible because you're quite isolated and geopolitical situation looks good, at least right now. So I think around this part of this moment in the game, this thought came into my mind, and I was slowly trying to go this route to try to achieve a tourism victory at the end. Okay, just for comparison reasons, turn 100, I like to do it in every single game I post, have a view of turn 100. And in this particular game, turn 100 is not looking that great on me. I'm on 4 cities. My cities are growing very, very slowly. And my capital is also growing slowly. Cap is only 15 pop, and the rest of the cities are barely reaching population 10. And I also got those 2 city-states, mercantile city-state and a maritime city-state. And that's about it. The rest of the map looks like this. Spain is somewhere in here. Shumi is here, Twinsen is in here, and there's Cleftor in here. Now, during those turns that I showed you, something strange happened. As I said, Twinsen is playing a little bit strangely lately, and he actually decided to go like almost all in and try to kill Cleftor. Cleftor lost 1 city. Cleftor lost 1 city, but his huge science advantage gave him the ability to defend. In the end, he defended, he pushed Twinsen back, and he killed Twinsen. Now, I'm not sure if Twinsen assessed that situation right, if there was like the only spot for him to actually attack, only moment to attack Cleftor, or he thought that he had no chance or whatever. It's really hard for me to decide what's in Twinsen's mind. The effect of his action is it didn't work out well for him. He attacked Cleftor, and then he got killed basically. and he got killed basically, though you can see a message in here that he's totally out tech right now and he don't get a single first click, so maybe he thought he can defend, well, he can attack, but the war didn't really work out that well for him. He did take one city. So now, what did this changes basically for me personally? What this changes? Well, this is something huge for me, because Twinsen is dead, not yet in here, but he is dead. Kleftor got slowed down in science. Babylon being slowed down is awesome. Yes, he's still in game, but he is slowed down still, and he needs to finish the war still, so he will be slowed down even more. So my closest neighbor is theoretically, in my mind, it was like he slowed down enough that I can maybe be on par with tech with him in the late game, at least at the moment of the game that I need to be at the end of the game. Now, on the other side, we've got super crazy Shumi, as usual, with Inca, and Tony, who is looking quite weak. He's really, look at the points, he's looking very weak, but don't be afraid, he was hiding his true potential in this game tremendously well. And I mean, like, he was hiding his true potential in this game tremendously well. I was surprised myself, but I will show you that in a moment. So for me, the situation on turn 100 looked like a perfect situation for my plans, basically. I was trying to fight the religion. You can see missionaries in here. I was desperately trying to fight off Shumi's religion, who spread it almost all in here. That was really important for me since I got hit. So I was using the fate before industrial era. I already bought all the buildings. I bought the pagodas, and I was working slowly to push his religion back. So I was spending my fate to buy missionaries before, actually probably this is the last wave of missionaries that I have bought. Maybe I will buy something before the industrial, I don't remember exactly right now. And I was slowly focusing on getting more economy, getting more culture, hoping for Sistine Chapelle and stuff like that. So it was looking good for me. I didn't have to worry about any military at this point of the game, and Shumi had to fight with Spain at some point, and Kleftor already had his war, quite a long war, and still had a couple of cities to kill. So I had the time for at least until Kleftor will deal with leftovers from Twinsen. I had the time to build up a little bit more economy and prepare a possible defense against Kleftor. Turn 128. I've got my ideology. So I was able, with my tremendous amounts of gold, I've got 115 gold per turn income. That's just purely crazy. Half of it is probably from religion. So Twinsen is dead. Finally, Twinsen is dead. Though there are still two cities from the AI who are in here between me and Kleftor. I was able to buy 2 factories and build 1 factory in Palenque. So I got autocracy at turn 128, and of course I picked futurism, and I picked mobilization, which means 250 tourism per when a great person like writer, musician, or an artist are born, and 33% less cost of purchasing units. So those were my my social policies in here. I'm slowed down with Russians a little bit. You can see my sense is not really that great, but that's perfect for me. Looking a little bit weaker on the science part, so not being like a leader is great for Maya. Though I don't think if I would be focused on science, maybe if I was 100% focused on science, I would be able to be a leader at this part of the game, because I did had 3 cities on observatory. So though my population is small compared to other players, I've got 3 observatories, especially one in my capital. So that kind of puts me a little bit, I don't know if like on par, but this helps me out a little bit to catch up in science wise. But I was definitely not focusing on science. I was focusing maxing the culture as much as possible. And now with autocracy, it came the time to start working on the tourism. So guilds up, working all the guild slots, going to archaeology, and starting to dig out sites, finishing up my wonders that I wanted, like Uffizi and all the other cool stuff, and slowly working now on tourism. So the next goal is internet, basically. So I'm just gonna skip to internet unless there's one more thing that I wanted to show you before that. So let's go there. Turn 173. This is something I was mentioning on. Something strange did happen in here. Now, as I said, Tony was hiding his true potential quite well, and he decided to attack Shumi. That's something strange. He decided to attack Shumi directly Inca with Great Wall with a lot of hills. I would love to see how Tony did it, how that fight went, but I was not able to see it. I had only spied there, so there's only like a little glimpse of what's going on in there. But it would seem like Tony attacked with infantry, so he went for foreign legions, he upgraded them, he had quite a lot of artillery or bought artillery, and he attacked with infantry coupled with artillery. So that fight started at research labs, but ended at turn 173. Well, it didn't really end, but Shumi finally lost his capital. And I was reaching internet. So my National Visitor Center is almost done, and I am reaching internet. So this is exactly the moment when tourism starts to be boosted up. I have 141 tourism right now, and the geopolitical situation is just great. There is a slight chance I can do it. Not like a great chance, but there is a slight chance I can actually pull this off at this moment. Kleftor still has to take Gen. He's slowed down a little bit by default with Twin Sim, so he's probably on par with my technology. I've got my bomb shelters. I'm starting to build up bombers. I'm starting to build up my bombers, and I'm starting to build up my units. So basically all the tourism stuff is almost completed, and the next stop is like getting the units to defend my cities, getting nukes. As you can see, I've got 2 uranium in my land, and getting units to defend my capital, because as soon as they will see what's going on, there's a glimpse. I think that's already it, that they know that I'm trying to achieve a tourism victory. That, well, I'm trying it for a long time, but they didn't really thought it was possible. But like at this moment, Kleftor sees like, okay, he actually can pull this off. So as soon as my internet is done, let's skip a little quickly to the next turn. Where's the internet? Internet done. There we go. So I've got 383 tourism now. So then in this moment, I just want to say how geopolitical situation is very good for me. Basically, Kleftor is behind because Twinsen warned him, so he needs to prepare much longer to actually be able to attack me and take me down. I already have all the stuff that I need. Now I only need to build troops. That's all I need to do at this point of the game to actually achieve the science victory. So get my bomb shelters up, and then just build up troops, and build up troops. Now I've got my max tourism output, so the only next stop for me is actually to buy great musicians, great artists, and all this stuff, and send them to the leader. And the leader is with culture is actually Tony and Shumi, but Shumi is not generating more culture right now because he lost his capital. Tony is generating a lot of culture right now, but thankfully Shumi's capital is not online yet, so I've got around 23 turns before his capital is gonna be, well, the Shumi's capital is gonna be online. So there's a little small window that I have right now that I need to use to actually get that done. So I knew I had to bomb Tony, so I have access in here to his capital, and that's what I was trying to do. Turn 178. Now you see great musicians going to Tony's land. Now I made a huge mistake. I should have declared war on Kleftor. I should have used my money, bought Cahokia, and declared war on Kleftor because it was Kleftor's ally. And again, I made a huge mistake. I went with my musicians on the sea, and then he declared war on me. So he bought off Cahokia and he declared war on me. Well, he had Cahokia and he declared war on me. I should have see that coming because it was his ally for a long time, so he saw those musicians in here, so I shouldn't have like went here or any other way, so he didn't not notice, but he saw it, and those are out of moves. One will die, and there's only one musician going to Tony, so that was a huge mistake. In the meantime, of course, he's gathering army in here. Well, he's not gathering army in here, but he's going to attack Jen and Tone DB, but hopefully this is too late. Hopefully this is too late. And here we are, turn 185. Tony has nothing protecting my coast, my theoretical coast, and his coast. So this musician is going to get used right now. And I'm missing like not that much. I'm missing around 2k, 2.5k, but the musician is not going to be like that tremendously good, but it will be there, and I will have a chance to use one more. So I'm declaring war on Mr. Tony right now, and I'm using great musician. That's 1917. There we go, and he's got 12.2k, and I've got 11.6, but I still have the fate. I have fate to buy two, not in this turn sadly, but I have the fate to buy two great people, one this turn and another one in the next turn, so that's another 500 tourism, and I'm generating 386. He's around 150, so theoretically I should win next turn or 2 turns from now, thankfully to that great musician. And the question, have I made it? Have I made it? Yes, I did. Ladies and gentlemen, culture victory, turn 186. Culture win. And what's great about this particular culture win is it was against Tony the Bomb. He said a long time ago, if he's in game, there's no way anybody can win a culture win. So a victory against him is like cherry on a pie. It's just awesome, great. So I've managed to sneak in a culture victory in turn 186. Of course, Kleftor tried to stop me as soon as he saw those musicians, but that was thankfully too late. But let's just theorycraft a little bit. Why this was possible? Now, there were several things that came together. First religion, very good religion, managed to spam the religion a lot. Isolated position, not only isolated position, the theoretical science, possible science leader was slowed down by Twinsen. Tony attacked Shumi, who was like looking like a leader all day long. So Tony managed to take him down, but that also took a much longer time that Tony would want to spend on it. So all those things together made possible for me, and also only one culture city state that was my ally at some point. So all of that was made this possible, basically. I always say that a culture win is a situational thing. It's a very situational thing. There's a lot of stuff that need to happen together at the same time to make a culture win possible. Because it's really hard to achieve a culture win if you say like from turn 0 I go for culture win. Okay, so the other players go just for culture, right? It's really hard. Look at this. I want to just show you my culture 371 and my tourism 386. So it's tremendously hard or nearly impossible to gather enough tourism that it cannot be countered by culture, especially with culture city-states on the map. It's really hard to do it before science victory timing. Even if you're focused on culture before science victory timing, it's just very hard to do. So this was a very situational win, but I'm very happy with this, and I really hope if you watch it you enjoyed it. And best wishes to Tony. Here's this game for you. As you want. I would love to see a couple of screens of your war with with Shumido. So what else? I guess that's it. So thank you very much for the game, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't watched this game, go check it out. The link to the first position of the playlist is in here where the game starts. I think you will enjoy this one. Though I was not in early wars and stuff like that, but overall game and the atmosphere, except Twinsen this time, was quite cool and quite fun. And achieving a culture victory against Tony and Shumi and Kleftor is just amazing. I love it. So, one more time, thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Best wishes. Yoruus.